Hi folks, if you're new here, my name is Lauren Ash. I'm a full-time musician and I want to start kind of like a series for you guys here on my channel, talking about all the things I've learned throughout the years being a professional musician, and just like tips and tricks and how to become a full-time musician if you want to. So still working on a good catchy name for it, but this will be like the first installment of that, I guess. And today I want to talk about how to make a set list, how to cultivate a set list that people will love. And so in normal fashion, I have my very high-tech list here. I mean, it doesn't get more high-tech than this, am I right? Let's get started. So the first thing is how long you're playing will determine obviously how many songs you need to have. Normally when I play at a gig, I play anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours depending on the venue. For 1 hour, I play the whole time. I don't take a break. For 2, 3, and 4 hours, I will take breaks, and I'll take like a 15-minute break per hour. So say I played for 3 hours, I'll take 2 15-minute breaks. If I play for 4 hours, I'll take 3 15-minute breaks. You get the idea. So if you're playing for an hour, say, you'd have 60 minutes to fill. Obviously, you're not going to be playing the whole time. You're going to be talking between songs a little bit, taking a drink of water, picking out the next song, anything like that. So that'll factor in your time as well. So how much you talk to the audience will also kind of determine how many songs you need to have, but it's always better to have more, and then you can always leave off a few than not have enough, and then get to the end of the hour and be like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything else to play. So always err on the side of more songs, and you'll just have more in your repertoire anyways for later on. So say you have an hour-long set. I would expect to play about 16, 17 songs. That would be my guess, but again, it'll vary. And so if you're playing a 45-minute set, I would probably expect to play about 13 songs. Most songs are about 3 minutes on average, so yeah, it's just a ballpark to help you kind of guess how many songs you need, but always err on the side of more. Alright, when you're choosing songs to learn, I would start with like, what songs do you just already know, just from living your daily life? You've heard them a million times throughout life. They're just like classics, you know what I mean? So things like Sweet Caroline's super popular. I will get into this more later, but like Johnny Cash, like just like the songs you hear and you can sing along to it, even if you don't like know it word for word, you can still sing along to the chorus. That's a great place to start because other people will have that same experience. You can listen to other musicians, so like go to other live musicians' concerts and kind of just pay attention to what songs they're singing. A lot of us play some of the same songs because those are the ones that the audience really wants to hear, and again are those kind of old reliable standbys that everybody wants to hear at a live gig. When you're picking songs, I like to do my type of music when I do the live gigs is a wide range of songs. So I'll do anything, my little spiel is anything from Elvis to Taylor Swift, or anything from Johnny Cash to Taylor Swift. That's usually what I say, to just kind of give people an idea, like it's a really big variety. So that's one way to go about it, and that's really good for a diverse audience. So if there's a place with lots of age ranges, they have little kids, they have older folks, they have everything in between, people who like country, people who like rock. If you have that really big set list, it'll kind of appeal, and I think a lot of gigs have audiences like that. But there are some people who choose to kind of niche down and do a more specific genre type. Like I've heard of a band that like bands that only do like the 80s or only do the 90s, and then you could also get hired. I know less about this because this isn't my thing, but you could get hired in more niche forms. Like I have some friends who are into swing dancing, so like a swing band would be hired for their events, where like I wouldn't be the best fit, if that makes sense. So I'm speaking to the wide range concept. So I would say these are the genres that I kind of have in my head, is like country, both old and new. They're different types of people that want the old or the new. Sometimes they overlap, but have old and new. Pop, modern music, so like things you hear on the radio, Sabrina Carpenter, Dua Lipa, Benson Boone. You get what I'm saying. 80s, so the 80s hits. People love the 80s, and a lot of times when you're playing at like bars and stuff, the folks that are typically there are like 80s babies, and they love it. Story songs. I did a poll here on YouTube and y'all really like the story songs, so those are fun to throw in there. They're often longer too, so it kind of fills up the set time, which I like if I'm wanting to fill up a little bit of space. Oldies but goodies, which you guys know I love playing at retirement homes, but you can always throw in an oldie but goodie even for people who aren't older folks, because a lot of younger people like those tunes too, like myself. And those are often songs you've heard a million times, like Stand By Me, you know what I mean? Like everybody knows that song. So throw those in there, and those are good for the older folks as well. And then I have on my list like girl guy songs, which, let me explain this. So like if you see like a group of girls, say that they're for like a bachelorette party or something, things like, I play like Single Ladies from Beyonce, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston, Carrie Underwood, maybe, like just like Adele, like the girl songs, if that makes sense. Again, these are general stereotypes for groups, but a lot of times like it's kind of like demographic research in a way when you're up there. Like pay attention to which people like which songs. And then, so I have like a few tips on that. So like guys often like, especially like middle-aged guys, like Tom Petty's huge, Johnny Cash, and like rock music usually is good. Little girls, like little children, they really like Taylor Swift. So you see a bunch of little girls play some Taylor Swift, they'll get a kick out of it. And like older folks, again, like the oldies. And that's just some like general, the recommendations. Kind of take a look at your crowd, and I'll get into that later, but take a look at your crowd and think about what that group would want to hear, and tailor it to that. But yes, you want a big range of songs. I also recommend considering your own taste when you're picking out music. If you just really don't like a song, you don't have to play it or change it into something you end up liking. The thing is, like, I've had a lot of people tell me that they really like the set list and they really like the songs I'm choosing, and I think part of that is picking songs that people will like, but I think also part of that is trusting your own taste. Like, you have a preference for music, and a lot of people also probably have that preference, so don't discount what you like, and I think if you like a song too, it'll come through with how you play it. You'll have more emotion and feeling in it. So yeah, consider yourself in that mix. Unfortunately, I would say stay away from B tracks, which are like lesser known songs from artists. I really like a lot of B tracks, and I listen to them in my free time. And when I first started playing music, I played more just what I wanted to play rather than thinking about the audience. And at some point I changed off of that, because if you're playing to entertain a crowd and you're playing to make money, you're playing to make tips, you're playing to get rehired, you want to play what the audience likes. You just do. And so if you're playing B tracks, there's a good chance they don't know that song, and then they're not going to be as into it. They might still enjoy it passively, but they're not going to be singing along and really enjoying it. So unfortunately, I wouldn't play many B tracks. Maybe throw in one or two every now and then. That's what I do. But I wouldn't. So an ideal mix of like tempos you want, I would say like 50 to 60% upbeat if you can. Like 20 to 30 like middle range, so not quite like a slow song, but not quite like a jam either. Just like the middle, kind of like loungy, chill. Think like Jason Mraz, Ed Sheeran, like middle ground. And then like 10% slow songs, which if you guys are subscribers here, that just kills me. I freaking love slow songs. So it's really hard for me to only keep it to like 10%, But again, like a crowd wants to, like say you're at a bar, like they want to feel uplifted and having like a good Friday night, like the slow songs aren't what they're looking for that night. Sometimes at wineries I'll skew it a little more to the mid-slow range for myself. it's fun, and I also think that kind of audience does kind of want more of like a relaxed, chill vibe, so it's okay to skew a little more to the slow, but not much. They're not big on the slow songs, and like mix them in between upbeat and middle range. I'd also say when you're learning your songs to give them a slight twist, like make them your own. I hear a lot that people really like that I make the song my own, and if you think about it, this is the way I look at it, if someone wants to hear a cover of a song, or if someone wants to hear a song, they'll just go listen to that artist. Like, why are they coming to hear your cover? And I think what makes people want to hear your cover is when you give it your own view and your own perspective, your own twist, and then that gives it a new life and makes it fresh. And it also establishes you more as an artist rather than a cover singer. If you want to be a cover singer, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're looking to be an artist, it kind of leads you more into that artist realm where you're like showing your style even when you're not doing an original. So give it your own twist, but also make sure you're keeping it recognizable. You don't want to twist it so much that someone doesn't recognize the song, because again, you want them to engage and want to like tap along, sing along, hum along, you know what I mean? So you want to hook them in that way, so don't make it too obscure, but give it your little something, you know what I mean? Alright, so that's all my tips on like choosing the set list. Here, next I have like how to keep track of that at a gig and as you learn the songs over time. A lot of people use iPads, and again, like I can't speak to that very much because I don't go that route. I memorize all my songs for the live gigs, except for Christmas, because I have to learn a lot of songs really fast, but the like week to week, month to month live music, I memorize all of them. The reason I do that is I think it leads to a better performance quality. If you're not thinking about the chords and the lyrics and you're thinking about what you're saying and you're thinking about the emotion in your voice, you're thinking about the dynamics, the tempo, you're thinking about the crowd, I think you're a lot more actively engaged in the song that way than thinking about the chords. So if you can, I would recommend to memorize as much as you can. I know it's not always easy. You know, a lot of these songs are complex. People only have so much time. You might be doing this as a hobby, but yeah, consider that. For me, I keep just like a paper copy. I have like a, like a Word document on my computer that I add when I learn a new song. And what I put is the artist, the title of the song, the capo I use, because I rely on my capo heavily. I'm not a super great guitarist, but I am a decent guitarist, so I use my capo a lot. And I put like a quick chords, like jot down quick chords. I'll put like what the chords are for the verses, what the chords are for the chorus, and the chords for the bridge. And that way, if I'm at a gig and I'm like, oh my god, I can't remember how the bridge goes, I'll just look real quickly, and that can help me if I'm struggling to remember, or if you're having trouble with like one line you can't remember the words for, jot that down next to the name of the song, and that can help like trigger your memory. But yeah, that's my tip for that. And that's what I do, and I just have paper copies, and sometimes it's actually really great because people will see you looking at that periodically between songs to choose the next song and think about the chords or whatever, and they'll realize that you're choosing off a set list, and sometimes they'll come up and say, hey, can I look at your set list? I'd like to recommend or request a song. And then you can be like, oh yeah, sure. And then they're requesting a song that you already know. So you don't have to go through the business of them requesting and you're like, oh, I don't know it. You already have it there. And if someone chooses the song for you, it's also kind of nice because it's less that you have to think about. Like, they chose it. It was a request. A lot of times they'll tip you when they request you, which is also great. And, it encourages other people to come request. So, yeah, that's what I do. All right, the last segment is when you're live. Like, how do you navigate that when you're live? So, When I start the sets, I always encourage everyone to sing or dance along. I say, feel free to sing or dance along or bop in your chair. I love that. And it lets them know, like, you can relax here, you can have fun, you can sing. Again, you want to get them engaged. Pro tip, practice keeping a beat despite whatever shenanigans are going on around you, because unfortunately a lot of people, when they clap along, they don't keep the rhythm very well, and so they'll go faster or slower than the rhythm of the song. So you have to have a really strong foundation within yourself of what the beat is. So practice that at home. Have, like, maybe even just, I don't know, like, put on a video of people clapping, like, put on TV, ask your family or friends to clap in weird erratic ways while you're playing, and try to keep consistent. That way you're not thrown at the live gig. But you want them to clap, but you just also want to be able to, like, stay comfortable and calm in that moment. When you're playing, I like to rotate through the genre, so I really think about who's in the room. I think about how people are responding to the last song I played, like who seems to like what genre, kind of doing real-time market research on what people like, and then also rotating. So I'll do like a country song, like I'll do an older country song, then I'll do a pop song, then I'll do an 80s song, then I'll do a old crooner song, then I'll do I don't know, like a 90s song. You get what I'm saying? Like a little bit just bopping around. That helps keep it fresh, because like if you're at a gig and say you're an audience member and say you don't like country and they're playing 3 country songs in a row, you're gonna tune out, right? Say they play one country song and the next one they play is Sabrina Carpenter and you love Sabrina Carpenter. Well, now you're happy. And then the next one is an 80s song, and maybe you don't like the 80s, sure, but then like 2 songs later they're playing Adele and you like Adele. You see what I'm saying? So it keeps it where people stay engaged more. I recommend to start and end each set with a beat song. I think it leaves like a good impression. People like upbeat songs. And also play a song you feel really confident in, both the start and end. So you end with like end and start with like a one that you sound really good on, and that'll help people stay through. At least I like to think it helps them stay through the break to hear more, and maybe they'll tip you while you're on break, which is always good. When people do make a request that you don't know, it's really easy to feel bad about that. I still struggle with this, but don't feel bad about it. Like, you can only know so many songs. You can only know so many songs. So don't feel bad. Have something similar. Like, think about what they asked for. Say they asked for Randy Travis and you don't have any Randy Travis. Well, do you have Johnny Cash? They like old country, they probably like Johnny Cash. Play that one next. And you kind of say like, well, I don't have Randy Travis, but I could play you a little Johnny Cash. They'll be like, oh yeah, that'd be great. You know, kind of work with them with what you have and have a good solid base in your head of what songs you have available, and that'll help out. And consider adding that song they requested to the set list. Sometimes people ask you for really random songs like you've never heard of, which sometimes you just don't know the song, but sometimes they're just like B tracks, so maybe not those. But if somebody's asking, like the other day I had a request for Georgia on My Mind from a retirement home, and that's a really beautiful, popular song. So I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a good one to add. So that's on my short list of ones to learn, and that can help you kind of cultivate your set list in a way that'll appeal to people too, especially people in your area. I recommend having 2 to 3, I call like end songs. For like the end of your set, I like to have like a couple that are popular, they're upbeat, kind of like the finale in a way of your set. At that point, you'll probably be a little bit tired because you've been playing 3 or 4 hours. You'll probably be a little bit like, I don't want to think anymore, I'm tired. So make sure that they're ones you're really comfortable with. They're a really good, strong finish. You don't have to consider, and you end your set with a bang. And then I also recommend having one encore song that again is a similar kind of vein to the last ones I was talking about, that you can have in your pocket. So if someone comes up and says encore, or they cheer encore because you did such a great job, you can be like, yeah, sure, and then start into another great tune. Have at least one of those. 2 or 3 is great if you have them, but when you're first starting out, you know, you're only going to be able to learn so much, so at least one you feel is a good encore song. And yeah, those are my tips on how to make an awesome set list. Let me know if you guys liked this kind of educational content of how to start being a live musician. I think I'm gonna make a series of this and kind of talk more about the tips and tricks I've learned over the years. Make sure you like, comment what you thought, and of course hit subscribe because there's more coming. I also post weekly covers and all kinds of stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks!